Hey traders, welcome to today's recap. This is Christian from Tribeca Trade Group, and this will be a quick one. It is Tuesday, the 28th, and a couple names that reported earnings. Box after the close today looks like it's moving down. I just sent this out on Twitter. It's a name that just doesn't perform well. So this was a no trade. We went over it in the earnings. We went over it in the trading room today, right before the close. This was a position that I was actually itching to go long on, and maybe it comes back. But I think the guide here just gives you a little bit of evidence of what happens on earnings and why this was a good avoid. So for me, when I take a name for earnings, which we did about 3 or 4 of those last week, I think we actually got everyone right. But it really, I have to look at a couple different factors. I like to look at the short interest. I like to look at the what it does previously on earnings, what the previous reaction, because you could see there is some consistency here. So, I did not play this one. I also did not play HPE, which I think is up, because this also did not have good history. Let's see. I think HPE is actually up a little bit. Yeah, it's up a little bit. I like I said, I just was not expecting much for this one. So I just want to talk a little bit about the market, and we'll go from there. Coming in today, just wasn't expecting much. It's really difficult if you're an active trader to sit on your hands. And I talked about this, and I think I took one day trade today in the room, which did not work out for me. But I'll tell you, it is one of the hardest things. So that's why I like to talk about strategy, because rather than individual trade alerts and option flow, which I'll talk a little bit about. But it's really hard when the market doesn't have momentum, and when you've made a lot of money, which I've had an exceptional August, more than I would have planned, going into the month, and especially the last couple days for me have been very, very strong. So there's always psychology. When we, end up getting, having a real couple of days, sometimes our confidence increases. Sometimes, we think that, we can continue to kind of churn out those results. And it's the hardest thing in the world to just sit and do nothing when the opportunities are not abundant. So that's what today was. I think tomorrow it's going to be very similar to that as well. Maybe things might change a little bit, but I think from the standpoint, my goal for the month is not to really give back those gains, right? I mean, especially if you're trading options, which are extremely volatile, you do not want to give back the gains that you made this week by just boredom, and just forcing trades. It is so important and should be stressed, I think, a lot more than like finding the next big, one on the tape. So, I'll show you today's option activity. I think there was a couple momentum plays that happened for today. I don't have all the trades written down for the day. I apologize because I just been involved in a couple things. Walmart played a really good, had a really good day today. There was call buying in this name. I will show you the activity in Walmart, but there's a couple other names that you could have picked on the lows. There was some call buying in Penn and Boyd that I think worked okay, but you could see there really wasn't that much. These are the sweeps in Walmart. There were some Roku calls as well today. This was a spread that went up, the 95-97 calls that went up. So you kind of have to ask yourself what you're looking, and again, this should all be established. This is a nice move here, by the way, after earnings, and nice fall into the 5-day moving average. But this strategy is something that you should set in the beginning of the day before the market opens, right? You should already have in your frame of mind what you want to risk. You shouldn't be establishing that while the market is open. So for me, like I had two different plays on. I had a play on recently in Amazon. I took that all for profits. I had on short put spreads in Google. So I'm not in any of the FANG stocks right now. I don't have any trades on right now. I'm going to let this market come into me and be a little bit patient. You could start trades. I did that today. I think that was one of the only swing trades I did today. Was I started a position in Teva. I think the chart looks pretty good, but it's got to get over the 50-day moving average. It didn't close exactly where I wanted it to. So, that's another trick that you could do right now in this market is to basically, if you are compelled to trade, and you normally trade, let's say just for round purposes, let's say you normally trade a 10 lot, right? That's your normal swing trade size. Maybe put on a 1 lot or a 2 lot, just so you're doing something, which may help you, rather than, because I know it's just very difficult to kind of sit. The best thing I think to do right now, if you've had a tremendous month, is to go outside. Get away from the screens a little bit. I did that on Saturday. Normally I work a couple hours each day, and I took the whole Saturday off. And it really gives you perspective to get away from the screens. It really does. Rather than to sit in front of the screens all day, every day. It's not, that does not give you any perspective. So, I really don't think there was many opportunities for, if I really wanted to dig, the Qualcomm, there was repeat Qualcomm calls today. Like I said, I thought the Roku was interesting. Juniper, which I did take a flyer on Juniper. This was 38-cent calls that I paid for it. Now, granted, Juniper has already made a decent move, but if you look at what Cisco has been doing, Cisco has completely been breaking out. So I think, those two names tend to move a little bit together. So I think maybe that's why there was some option activity in Juniper. Made a little bit of sense to me. All right, so that's it for today's call. And that's the main thing. And if again, I'm more of a swing trader. If you're a day trader, you have a little bit more flexibility because you could get in and out of things, and play that momentum back and forth. So while I do look for those plays, I would rather be buying the dip. I do much better as a day trader when we start the day down, and it's a decent dip to buy. So that being said, have a great day, and again, try not to overtrade the rest of this week. Again, this video is for information purposes only, but that's what I'm doing. Have a great day, guys, and see you tomorrow.